your TED Talk really got a lot of interest from my listeners, and I certainly found it incredibly illuminating. If anyone's not heard it, you can find the link to the podcast on my YouTube page. So we've got a few questions from the listeners, which I'm going to pose to you, if you don't mind responding to them. And but thank you so much for joining.
That's okay. Yeah, it's great to be here. It's certainly a busy time for all of us, and I'd be delighted to answer as many questions as possible. Mike, I love your show. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bob. It's great to have you. It must be a very busy time for you. You must be inundated by members of the media and such like asking you for advice and some of your expertise.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a lot of people. I was on the teleconference call last night, actually, to a Filipino state TV. And many of the questions I just didn't have answers to, because at the moment we're very limited to our knowledge of the virus. We've established pretty unanimously that it's indeed a virus that spreads. We know that now almost inarguably. It spreads from person to person, and spreads quite rapidly. And we believe that it's airborne, which means that it can travel through the air, like a bird or a bug. It can travel through the air, which really does complicate things. But we're working on a bunch of solutions to this at the WHO.
First question, Bob, because I know you haven't got a huge amount of time. First question comes from Lindsay Schneider from Slough. She's asking, and I'm going to read her question out. Hi there, Mike stroke Bob. Thank you so much for your wisdom. I was wondering how the virus actually travels from person to person. Can it travel along the ground? Can it travel through the air? Or does it simply travel through physical contact? I'd love you to answer the question, because I'm a beauty therapist and I need to understand how to keep my clients safe, because I do a lot of massage work and also facials. And that's just signed Lindsay. So Bob, if you'd like to let us know, I think you've already covered one of the transfer techniques used by this virus.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. And Lindsay. The virus, it does indeed fly through the air. We don't know yet if it travels along the ground. It may well do. There have been other viruses that can travel along the ground, much like kind of animals do.
Yeah.
But we believe this virus primarily travels through the air. We're looking into ways in which it does that. One of the theories at the moment is that the virus itself, which kind of looks like a strange golf ball with spikes, we believe some of these spikes can actually vibrate at a hypersonic speed, which enables it to fly through the air. That's how it's getting from place to place, from A to B. Now, the other theory, we believe the virus may have on the ends of these spikes, but they look kind of scary. But we believe some of these spikes may be emitting tiny particles into the air.
Right.
Very, very fine jets of particles, which act in much like a spaceman's rocket pack, expelling the gases to push him through the vacuum of space. And we believe this might be a way that the virus is getting about and traveling. So we're looking into ways to mitigate that technique, to prevent it from flying.
Fascinating. It's very exciting just to hear how in depth your research is going.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. It's really in depth, and we're investing billions of dollars in this research. We've got a number of different clients who are working with us, partners who are working with us to work on this technology.
Got another question here, Bob, from Ronald Hulse. He's from Barnstaple in Devon. Lovely place, Barnstaple. Welcome to all our listeners from Devon. I love your county. Anyway, Ronald Hulse says, now I'm just reading this word for word, so forgive me for any grammatical errors that Ronald may have included. Hi there, Bob. I'm coming on the show. I hear Bob be on the show later. Here's a question. How will you destroy the virus? Love, Ronald. Well, there we go. Short and sweet there from Ron. Thank you so much for the question. It's a pretty big question, I think, and one I think many of us are asking in a number of different ways. So how are you planning on destroying the virus, Bob? Do you have anything you can share with us?
Well, this is an extremely exciting moment for me because I can share with you some of the theories that we're applying and some of the research we're doing. Now, we've got a number of different institutions working on this technology, and the first technique we are developing is actually the concept. The concept was dreamt up by Senator Tad Stanson, who's the governor of Arkansas in the United States, and he was actually inspired by the film Inner Space, by which stars Dennis Quaid and the rather lovely Meg Ryan in the 1980s, if you remember.
Yes, I do remember that film. Yes, yeah, little robot people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, little robot people traveling through the body. Now, this idea sounds far-fetched, but actually it could work very well. Now, what we're developing are these tiny nanobots, which can actually fly through the air, seek out the virus using military-grade technology and tracking, find the virus and destroy it. And how they do that, they lock on.
Wow.
And they release a minute nuclear detonation. Essentially just a very small nuclear bomb.
A bomb? Okay.
And they carry about 4 of these and can release them at any given time remotely and controlled by a remote team. And they release a small nuclear charge which covers an area of around 3 meters. And that destroys pretty much anything in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Vaporizes it instantly. So that's one way we can deal with this very effectively. We're developing that, and we're going to be sending out some prototypes later this month. The other method we're looking into is what we're calling Project Honeypot.
Okay.
This involves creating human clones that have certain characteristics that the virus find irresistible. And the virus essentially seeks out these human clones, which we send out into the community. They wander around at random, interacting with people and just going around their daily lives. And as they do so, the virus is attracted to them. It flies through the air. It lands on the human clone host, or the honeypot, as we like to call it. It infests the clone at an incredible rate, and very soon the human clone will be saturated with the virus. And at that point, we actually detonate a bomb inside the human clone. It's a small nuclear charge, which is loaded with depleted uranium and napalm, killing the virus on contact and any other viruses within the vicinity. Now,
sounds very effective, but is it safe? Has it been tested?
Yeah, it's been tested. There's actually a city in western Texas where we're trialing this at the moment, and it's proving extremely effective. The only problem with this technique, of course, is that it's quite messy.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Quite messy.
Yeah, it's quite messy, but it's highly effective. We're invested around $235 billion into that technology.
That's fascinating. Well, exciting times, I'm sure. So we've got the nanobots, and we've got the Project Honeypot coming soon, hopefully. It's good to know that you guys are on the case with all these things.
Yeah.
So, hey, Mike, we don't actually have any more questions, but... Yeah.
Well...
The research sounds very cutting edge. Are you still exploring things like vaccinations and that kind of thing?
Well, yeah. Vaccinations is not really on the agenda. We found that we're in a war. We're in a war against viruses, and it's a viral war, and we've got to try and attack these viruses the only way that they understand. And that means blasting them out of the sky. So if that takes nanobots or it takes clones, then we're willing to do that, and we're putting a lot of money into it. And this is really the cutting edge of technology when it comes to virology these days at the WHO, and we know exactly what we're doing, and it's exciting times. It's an exciting time to be working there. We need to take a stand. As Americans, as humans, we need to take a stand against these viruses that are getting in the way, and they're invading our homes. They're flying from place to place, killing people, and it's not acceptable. We need to take a stand, and that's what we're doing. And so I'm very proud to be a part of this movement to eradicate them completely. And we're hoping that by 2030 we would have eradicated all the viruses from the world, even the ones that crawl along the ground. Even those guys, they're particularly tricky.
Well, thank you so much, Bob, for your time.
I'm just grateful that you gave me this forum to explain my ideas and get across the amazing work that we're doing here at the WHO.
It really has been extraordinary.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mike, and take care of yourself and your family. Bye.
Well, there you go, guys. Bob Norris, comforting, I'm sure you'll agree, to know that people like that are out there looking after us. A great guy, and I'm sure we'll hear more from him another time.